Welcome to Connect Canyons, a podcast sponsored by Canyon School District. This is a show about what we teach, how we teach, and why. We get up close and personal with some of the people who make our schools great. Students, teachers, principals, parents, and more. We meet national experts too. Learning is about making connections. So connect with us.
It takes a village to raise the next generation of entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, and leaders. The National Education Association says that substitute teachers serve as educational bridges when a teacher cannot attend school. While teachers feel responsible for their students, they need to know that they can call out when they're feeling sick to make teachers feel confident that their class is in good hands. November 17th is National Substitute Teacher Appreciation Day. So today we are speaking with Julie Hodges and Camille Ross, two Canyon District substitute teachers. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Substitute teaching, over the last few years, we've seen how incredibly important it is. What made the both of you decide to get into the classrooms and substitute?
You want to go first, Camille?
Go ahead.
Oh. I retired about 6 years ago, so my business, etc. And I hadn't taught for a lot of years and decided that I'd like to come back and work with the young people. I only do elementary school. The big kids kind of scare me, but it's been the best thing I've done, and I've done a lot of things in my lifetime. The kids today are so tech smart and clever, and most of them are so funny, and they can be so kind. And I just have renewed hope for this great country of ours, working with these young people. They're fabulous, and I tell them how much I enjoy being with them, and it's just been a wonderful experience to go back and work with them. So
That's awesome.
Let's see. I am a kindergarten teacher by trade. I got my degree in early childhood, and but I hadn't taught for years. I'd only taught long time ago, 20 plus years ago. Then I stayed home to raise my family, and my daughter was at Draper Park Middle School, and I was there talking with the vice principal, Jody Roberts, who I think's at Brighton now, and I asked her about substitute teaching. And she kind of told me, go to the district. And the next day, Draper Park Middle called me and said, we heard that you want to substitute. And I was like, but I haven't gone to the district. And they were like, we don't care. We need you. Come today. So I actually started at Draper Park Middle, where I only did have intentions of being at elementary schools, because that's my love. But they were in desperate need. I think it was maybe during COVID. I'm not sure. But it seems like that's the time when the district really needed substitutes, was during that time. So I now mostly do elementary school, not the middle school as much, just because that's where my heart is. I love the youth. I love their excitement to learn. And like I said, that's where my degree and background is, so it was a natural thing for me to get back into it. And I feel like I'm serving a purpose or doing some good to the community, which brings me happiness too.
It's a huge service to our community. During the time of coming right back for COVID, they had all of us district employees had to go in as emergency fill-ins for substitute teaching around the district. And let me tell you how grateful I am that you guys are back. Because just one day of doing a first grade dual immersion, by the end of the day, I did a before and after picture. In the beginning of the day, I had my makeup perfect. By the end, I had mascara smeared because classroom management is no joke. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like going in as a substitute teacher when you're not the regular teacher. And how do you get those littles and the older kids to listen to you?
Well, I always start out with a brief talk about why I'm there, what I've done in my lifetime, and how I got there. And I tell them that I'm there because I want to be, not because I have to be. And I'm there because I like spending my day with them. I try and do a lot of one-on-one eye contact when I'm talking to them. And I tell them that I think if we're working together, we can have a really productive day. Their teachers left me some wonderful notes on how to deal with them and what to teach them, and we're just going to have the best day ever. And 9 times out of 10, it works out that way. Especially with the 4th and 5th graders, with the older kids, they have had their share of substitutes, and I think they can suss out a weak one, or
Yes,
it's like
they,
out on the
they smelled the blood in the water.
yeah, out on the Serengeti, you know, the lame or the ill. But I just feel like, as I said, that if you talk with them and tell them you respect them and you want, this is going to be a good day, it almost always is. So that's what I do.
Yeah, I think that's probably really the winning key to subbing is classroom management, right? To make your day successful and theirs successful. And it's hard to walk in because you can't set up that classroom management. You're only there for maybe a day or two. But I try a lot of positive bribery or encouragement, even little things like I'll teach them a game if we have extra time, or a couple minutes early to recess, little things like that that really motivate them to be on task. I tell them we've got these plans the teacher left, and I wouldn't be a good sub if we didn't get through everything she wanted. But I always leave room for little positive things that we can do that make them think the day is so much fun or extra, when maybe it's only a couple minutes of early recess, but they love that, and it motivates them to be on task. And I think they like rules and boundaries, really. They like good classroom management.
Yeah, they didn't really like it when the wheels went off the crazy train. It didn't go so well. If you were talking to someone who was going to be new to substitute teaching, what would you recommend? Do they bring in their own books? What is a good plan as a new substitute teacher? What would you recommend?
I always have extra things. My husband says Hannibal crossed the Alps with less equipment than I take in. I have a big rolling thing that I have. I always have extra things because, like you said, when you have some extra time, you like to bring some of yourself. And I tell them that we're going to do some extra things. We're definitely going to do everything because I tell them what a great teacher they have and how she's left all of their instructions, he or she. But I always tell the new substitutes, I tell them, go in and make eye contact, greet them at the door, compliment, say you're rocking those tennis shoes, just something to connect with them. And I think that's really important. And then the rest of the day will lay itself out for you. And as I said, I take a lot of extra things in with me, and the teachers for whom I work know that a lot of times they'll say, they'll leave an hour open and say, I can do something that I want to with them, and that's always fun.
Yeah, I bring a tote, too, of some of my favorite things. Most of mine are usually books because I love to read, and I want to share that excitement with them, and that's something that really gets them. They'll stop for a story anytime, especially if it's one they haven't heard. A tote of your own stuff just to make sure that you have enough things to do. And I think showing your excitement, I think children are really good judges of character. They can tell if you're excited to be there and you want to be there. So if you show that you are happy to be there and spending your time with them, I think they can feel that. And it makes them respond better when you're asking them to do things. So excitement and a little tote of tricks would be my 2 tips.
Kind of be Mary Poppins.
Right, exactly.
What is one of your best memories of substituting?
Oh, wow. Well, there's a lot. I love they always make you notes and pictures and draw. Yes. They try to spell your name and draw pictures and bring you all their little art things when they have time. So I always come home with my purse full of notes. I'll take pictures even and send them to my college kids. Like, these are my notes today, and with my big hair or whatever funny thing I have for that day. But that's fun. I love their little notes.
Yeah, they write you, you're the best, we love you, you're the best substitute ever.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fridge art that reminds me what they think of me, which is so nice. There's a lot of fun things that have happened. I don't know if any of them are appropriate over the air. I had one kindergarten that was especially taxing, and so, like I said, but they're certainly memorable. So.
Yeah. They're honest. They tell you exactly what they think
Exactly.
or feel or of your anything you do or look or how you talk or they're there to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a couple of them walk up to me and say, "You're really old." And they don't mean it mean.
Right,
And
yeah.
I say, "Yeah, I
an
am."
observation.
Yeah, I'm retired a long time, but that just means I have seen a lot of people, and I know how special you are when I'm looking at you. So
The most magical thing, too, I think, is when you're working with a student and they get something. You're, like, teaching them something or reading with them, and you see their eyes, and they're like, I did that. I know that. I got that. That's really what it's all about.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Even in my experience, that day, even though it was very difficult, there was a kid that I struggled with who pounded out the syllables for a swear word, and it took me till the next day to realize, hey, that swear word does not have more than one syllable. But even with that, by the end of the day, when he settled in and actually connected with me, I went home going, wait, I want him over.
Yeah.
Even that was kind of a high. Do you find yourself kind of going home with a little bit of a contact high from
sure.
being around such sweet kids?
The good days are so good, and the bad days are, at least for me, so few that
Yeah.
it's so worth it. Mm-hmm. It really is.
So I'm taking it that you would highly recommend.
Oh, I think anyone who wants to, from my point of view, as I said, 76 years old, and I retired, and it just wasn't everything it was cracked up to be. And so I do this because I love it. And if you want to get out there and feel like you are contributing, and it gives me reason to get up in the morning and go for it, I would say, if you're at all interested, get out there and substitute. They need you. They really do. Our teachers are wonderful, but they do burn out and they get ill, and they need somebody to step in that they can trust.
Yeah, and they really care, so they want to know they're leaving their class with good subs, right, that will do a good job. So, yeah, I think if you're inclined at all to work with youth, for sure it's worth it. I love the flexibility of it also, that I can work 5 days a week or I can work 1 day a week, whatever fits my schedule. I love that part of it, too. The little app on our phones that you can, book or reject the job if you want it or not. And then teachers, of course, it's harder to say no to them when they text you directly. It's harder to say no. But that just means you did a good job, right? And that they want you back. It's such a rewarding job.
It really is.
Yeah, and you really do feel like you're contributing to the community, even if it's just in a small way.
Well, I venture to say it's not just a small way. I think that it's a huge thing that the teachers can feel safe knowing that they've left their classroom in capable hands instead of hands that by the end of the day I was ready to leave my car in the parking lot and run home. That was quite a distance. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. Is there anything else that you would like to say for prospective substitute teachers?
For me, just how much I respect the teachers these days and how hard they work. And I am so impressed with the hours they put in, and there's so much expected of them with all the new curriculum and all the new things that they're asked to do. I'm just in awe of what they did. When I taught years ago, it was not nearly as complicated and complex, and there wasn't so much asked of them. But I just think teachers are just American heroes.
Yeah. I think they all need a big raise.
Me too.
They're just so important, right?
Yes.
It's just vital to our future and to children. They can make such a huge difference in a child's life. Huge. Like, it's just can affect them forever. I can remember my favorite teachers, and a lot of them were the teachers that pushed me or made me work the hardest, right?
They weren't the easy ones. They were the ones that were demanding.
That expected the most of you. So I just think if there is anyone wanting to, because I think they need subs. They're always looking for subs. And the middle school, I didn't mind either. I like the little ones. I have a friend that subs, and she likes the older. So you can kind of find what fits for you. I know some people love doing high school. My friend really loves the middle school and would never do elementary, and I love elementary. So I think finding the age group that you maybe connect with the most is helpful, and you can kind of try it out till you find your fit or your spot. I know special ed looks for subs a lot. Whatever I think there's something you could really find for what you're inclined to do. So I would encourage anyone thinking about it to try it.
Right.
It's for sure worth it. The kids are worth it.
They really are.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to Connect Canyons. If you have any story ideas, please drop us a line. And if you're curious about becoming a substitute teacher, you can look at canyonsdistrict.org, and you can reach us by our email at communications@canyonsdistrict.org.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Connect Canyons. Connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram @Canyons District, or on our website, canyonsdistrict.org.